The Kathy Sanders Memorial Floor Hockey Trophy is not made of silver, nor is it made of tin, aluminum, or any other such metal. It's made of sweat, determination, perseverance, and that not so easily found alloy known as guts. Welcome back to St. Joseph's School in beautiful Dryden, Ontario, once again for Game of the Week. The Sanders Cup playoffs continue tonight with a second pair of round one matchups. We'll be checking out the Bruins as they take on the Nordiques. And immediately following that, we've got another action-packed game for you as the Swarm and the Whalers square off. We'll head down to Vicky and Peyton.
It's been a challenge to crawl up the standings this year for the Bruins. How can you take out the powerhouse Nordiques?
Outscore them.
Okay, good luck.
Liam, this has been a great inaugural season for the Nordiques. What can we expect to see today in your first playoff game?
I think we can see a hard work from our team that hopefully wins.
Good job.
And welcome to Game of the Week. Mr. Norino along with you, always with
Mr. Skillen.
And we got game one of a couple of series here. There's the Bruins lineup for today's game against the Nordiques. Gabe's in goal, well, there it goes. And here's the Nordiques. You can read that. We need to...
Shinsky, Keane, Friesen in net, and Liam Skillen.
All right, so game one of the Bruins-Nordiques series. This is our first round series. We're looking at the second seed taking on the seventh seed in the Bruins. So what have the Bruins got to do to make a dent in Landon Friesen here today, Mr. Skillen?
Well, Bruins will probably be relying heavily on one of their senior veteran-type players, Josh Blackman. They'll be looking for him to provide some leadership and some scoring up front, but they're going to have to dig deep here. This is a tough squad that they are taking on today in the Nordiques.
And no subs today for the Nordiques. We know that the Bruins are skating with two. Anessa away today. Haven't been given word whether or not she's a healthy scratch. And also Cale Springett not with us today. Usual
scale for sure.
Absolutely. So.
And
Anessa. Anessa definitely big size out there. That one rung off the post by Nate Baczynski, and the puck goes down into the Nordiques' end.
Quality player, Nate. For a young fella, he sure has great poise out there.
Nate behind the net, dumping the puck in for Liam. Liam keeping close watch by Anthony there, and the puck goes just over the net. It's going to be kind of a slow game, I figure, because Josh likes to play a lot of defense at the blue line there. He doesn't move up a lot as some of the other defensemen in this league, and he does fall on the ground a lot on purpose to block those shots. So maybe that's what it's going to take, some of that grit to make their way into the next round and have a first round upset.
Well, the Bruins love to trap. They like to employ that and turn pucks over kind of at the center line and see if they can get some offense from that.
Well, there's Ethan Keane battling with Anthony there, and our first freeze of the game, Landon Friesen. Referees today, Peyton and Tessa, as usual. Lucky to have them along with us. And also lucky to have Ava back with Ella, taking care of the music and the scorekeeping and the timekeeping. 8:25 left to go here in the game.
Bit of a defensive battle, not a lot of good scoring chances so far.
Usually by now the Nordiques have potted at least one, so whatever the Bruins are doing defensive-wise,
here's a chance here for Liam. And he capitalizes. A dandy goal. Liam Skillen gets his first of the playoffs.
That was pretty. Can't leave him alone anywhere near the offensive zone, and the Bruins do know that. That's why they were trying to slow him down and play back quite a bit. Here comes Nate. And there comes Josh Blackman. Oh, lost it in his pads. It's still loose. Looking for that whistle, and there it is.
Golden opportunity there. Just missed. Looks like nice save by Landon Friesen. He lost it, but then he kept.
Well, he is wearing those pads aren't very tall, but they are pretty bulky side to side, so you can lose them.
Well, there's a huge save. Again, offense being generated right off the draw.
Landon Friesen, last year's Vezina Trophy, not Vezina Trophy winner, I apologize. He was the Conn Smythe Trophy winner for the playoffs. Obviously, backstopped the Wheat Kings to their second consecutive Sanders Cup. and he's been pretty shiny this year so far. There's Nate.
Beautiful move by Nate Wyszynski. Splits the D and goes top shelf with the peanut butter.
So it's going to be tough playing catch-up on these Nordiques. You definitely want to strike first when you're playing a scoring powerhouse like the Nordiques. The most goals for this season so far are from the Nordiques, even though our scoring title went to Barrett in the regular season, followed by Brandon Gustafson. Overall, more of a potent 1-2 punch from Nate and Liam against all other teams. There's Josh behind the net. There's Carter Trach.
Now, is Nate a rookie this year?
Nate is a rookie this year, yes.
A Rookie of the Year candidate. Right?
Absolutely. We've got a few really good ones, and those are awards that we're looking at right now. We'll have more more information about that coming up pretty soon. Those awards are actually being printed as we speak. The game is going on right now, and up in the lab, the 3D printer is chugging away.
So the votes are in, and the decision is final.
The decisions are made.
Right
The awards are printing. Whether or not the names are on there, we'll have to check with whoever's in charge of that department. But yeah, definitely the bases of the awards are being printed, so that will be coming your way very soon. You'll find out about our awards at the end of the awarding of the Sanders Cup. 5:40 left here. And there's Josh headed back to battle with Liam. It's going to be a tough one. And he's lying on the ground. Shot blocker, Patrick Lina. And there's Liam again getting a big pass from Nate.
Ooh, that would have been an opportunity for Nate, but it just...
Comes Carter, wrestling with Ethan Keene. Nate dumps it back in. Wide open, Anthony. And gloved and dropped for Nate.
It's going to be a tall task to try and beat Freezer here 3 times to take the lead.
Oh, I agree. I'm not sure if there's been a game this year where he's given up that many goals. Pretty tight matches that he's in almost every time. A couple of games where the Nordiques were without him and they replaced his goaltending duties with somebody else, and that might have changed the goals against average for the team, but definitely when Friesen's in there, you can feel pretty confident that he's going to make those easy stops. Into the slot, kicked aside. There's Caleb Elwood fighting for it, finding it difficult to withstand the stick handling ability of Liam Skillen, GM of the Nordiques. Puck goes wide, dumped in. There's Liam and Caleb wrestling for it. Nate Wyszynski wheels around, looking for Liam, and Liam shoots.
And he scores. Only got a piece of it, but just not enough, and it bounced up into the top corner.
Right off the boot, off the back of the crossbar, and in. 3-0. And here's your goals against average for the regular season. Now, that's goals against average for the entire team, because there are some times when we have goalie switches, so it's not necessarily one player achieving that average. Too many differentials to work in, but as you can see, the Wheat Kings there with the best goals against this year, and they'll be playing.
Ooh, nice save, but he almost tossed it into his net. Those big goalie trappers that they use now.
Coming up next week and the week after is going to be kind of a different setup to the playoffs, where a majority of the skilled players on both Team Success and the Wheat Kings are going to be out of town, out of the country actually, and we'll be looking at this series to continue, as well as the series that's coming up next, the Swarm taking on the Whalers. That'll be pretty heavy on your TV for both of those weeks while we get to the bottom of those 2 series, so stay tuned for that. Here comes Liam wheeling and dealing, looking to get some more of a cushion on that 3-0 lead. Only 3 minutes left.
The Bruins are really going to have to start getting a little more pressure here, getting it in there, maybe pinching their D, trying to get a better forecheck. They got to start making something happen here, down 3-0.
Now, seeing that it's 3-0, the only major goalie trade that we had during the regular season was William for Gabe. Looking back on it now with 3-0 in Game 1, do you think that was a wise trade? Huge save!
Well, they're both pretty even, I would say. They're both solid netminders. One brings you a little bit more experience than the other in terms of will, but Gabe is no slouch in the pipe. So
you find out one of those individuals might be up for this year's Vezina Trophy as the awards come to you on the last day of school. And there's Nate again.
This second of the playoffs, he snipes at Danny there from the center line.
we're hoping to have Ron and Don at the awards to give those out on the last day of school, but also the Heritage Classic is going to be coming at you as soon as that snow melts, and it's getting there. It's a little bit chilly today, but it's definitely getting there, and we'll be suiting ourselves up.
Yeah, I don't think that'll be happening anytime soon.
No, next week we're getting another polar vortex.
Forecast for the weekend, which is going to be chilly.
Yeah. Well, I'd almost rather be chilly in goal than overheating in there if I'm going to be in the game as well. Maybe somebody else wants to strap on the pads. Because it gets a little lonely back there when you got snipers like Mr. Skillen and Mr. Hart and Mr. Stansfield out there.
Well, they're hopefully going the other way.
Well, yeah, but I don't get a lot of shots when they're playing the other end. It's not a lot of offensive zone tasks for me to take care of there. Down to our last minute 20.
They're all another year older, so that means the shots will probably be ratcheted up a little bit more. The older they get, the more shots they seem to give up. And there's another one. Liam Skillen completes the hat trick there.
Beauty.
Backhand, yeah.
A little bit of chirping there from Josh. I think he's getting a little bit annoyed that they haven't been able to crack Friesen and get on the board yet to bust that donut open. Not that a shutout means anything in the playoffs, but who knows? Maybe that's all it takes to start peppering a few more goals past Friesen. Just get one through, and then you're good to go.
Good way to open a series.
Absolutely. This is going to be definitely a psychological victory for the Nordiques. Obviously, the Nordiques, the new kids on the block, they're our expansion team, and the Bruins have been around for a few years. Just on paper, I kind of expected them to be kind of evenly matched here before the game started, but not so. There's Liam running down the clock, only 17 seconds left. And here comes Caleb Elwood. Oh, another great save by Friesen. You got to wake up early in the morning to get a ball past Len Friesen.
Well, Liam seems to be really controlling the pace of play today, so if he wants to pick things up, he does, and if he wants to slow things down like he just did to kill the rest of the time, that's what he does as well. So nice job there by the Nordiques.
And Josh slapping one in after the buzzer there, just having a little fun. So that's 5-0 Bruins. We're going to be taking a break here just for a second. 5-0 Nordiques. Nordiques lead the series 1-0, as you can see on your screen there. Go for a handshake, and then we're going to be right back with you looking at the Swarm and the Whalers.
Tegan, you and the Whalers are in the middle of the pack and will likely face a top 2 team. Who do you hope that will be?
I hope that'll be the Nordiques.
Why is that?
They're probably the easiest one.
Good luck today.
You're missing a key player in net today. What is your plan to make it a good game?
Keep scoring and play some defense and offense.
Okay. Thank you.
And we're back. Swarm, Whalers, FHL, Game of the Week. Let's have a look who's suiting up for the Swarm today. I can see Ryder out there. Keith Hutchison.
Devin Hyunga, Ryder Paquette, and Tegan Zatry's in the fight.
And Sophia taking over for Chase Furlong today. He is away. And your regulars, Brett, and Andrew. Making up the Whalers.
Xavier in the lineup as well?
Oh, Xavier Burgers. Yes, he's been out for a little while. He's been out for a little while, but he's back for the playoffs. So that's fantastic. We want to make sure that... I'll fix that.
This will be a very interesting game, this one here. It should be a tight checking series here.
Well, I should have done my homework beforehand and checked what the season series was, because these two teams have played each other at least twice. If they played each other with Chase in net and Tegan in net, you got to know those are going to be nearly scoreless games.
This is a whole brand new series once playoff time comes. You can throw those regular season games out the window.
Out that window. They mean nothing. And, I mean, any games between the Bruins and the Nordiques in the past were a lot closer than 5-0. So you're on a tear, and who knows what can happen.
Like you said, both netminders are outstanding, so this should be a very tightly contested defensive battle.
Indeed. So here comes Xavier with the puck. Again, our awards, Friday, June 23rd. Hopefully we'll be able to broadcast those. If not, there will be highlights and photos on our Facebook page for you to check out. Sophia has played out since, I'm going to say, December. So she hasn't really been between the pipes a whole lot in the floor hockey realm, but I know that she does quite well in girls hockey and minor hockey, playing goal as well. So maybe that'll translate over. Maybe she'll be knocking the dust off and do fairly well. Tegan, on the other hand, has played goal pretty much all year. So he knows what to expect from this Whalers team. A lot of back and forth. Big kick save by Tegan. 9.5 to go. Oh! Brett Karen hacking at it. And there's our first frozen puck of the day. Ryder Paquette, only person in the top 10 for scoring on the Swarm. The big save by Tegan there. Whoops. He's, I'm going to say responsible for at least half of all the goals that the Swarm have achieved this year.
There he goes, right on cue. He pumps one home. Ryder Paquette, first of the playoffs. Nice little play there by this fella here to get it up. Who was that there?
That's Devin. Yeah. Devin was out for about a month or so, and he's back with us once again for the playoff run. That's the best thing for a team when you know you've got some reserves, and maybe you've played some of those games in the regular season without as much help as you need. You want to keep bodies fresh out there. 10-minute games all the way through, all the way till the final, which is a one-game winner-take-all 40-minute. Just barn burner. You're going to be tired at the end of that one, so you want to make sure that you have as many reserves.
You have to have a full squad for that.
Absolutely. But we will be playing that back in the gym. We won't be outside for that this year. Too many factors that we didn't want to deal with. Here comes Ryder again, taking two people on.
Brett Karen dumps it into the corner.
For Andrew. Andrew looking for Brett McMurrick. Brett McMurrick with the green helmet. That's one of my favorite things. He matches his floor hockey uniform.
Good fashion sense.
Absolutely.
Good fashion sense.
Now the Whalers used to wear green helmets.
Oh! Glorious opportunity for Brett Cairns, just peppered it wide.
Setting up behind the net, Gretzky's office. And there's Andrew Brandt battling it out with Ryder. Good positional goaltending by Tegan as well. Playing a thinking man's position today.
Whalers got a ton of pressure on here looking for that equalizer.
Could come any time here. Andrew is really in that slot, just hoping for something. He's hitting everything he can. And that last shot that he had was pretty close. There's Ryder set up behind the net. Getting hacked at by McMurrick. McMurrick wins that battle, and here comes Andrew. Just high.
Campers it.
Brett Karen looking for an open man. Followed by Hutchison. Hutchison with the hoodie. And there's Brett McMurrick.
Chance for Brett.
Oh! Just goes wide. That probably would have gone in if Ryder didn't get his stick on it. Didn't look like Tegan was super ready for that puck. A lot of pressure on the offensive zone. Whalers able to keep it in here, and that's something that they're not usually able to do. There's your regulation scoring champions. You can see Ryder there with 21 goals, and Andrew Brandt rounding out the top 8 with 11. So, not the best turnout scoring wise for the Whalers this year. Just one crack in the top 8. Brett Karen, I think, with about 5 or 6. And I know McMurrick's got one for sure. I remember that was a monumental day with a game winner. That was a huge game. I think they might have been playing the Swarm that day too.
Good save there, right?
Had a girl, Sophie.
Pepper's one.
Sophia. Less than 6 minutes left, looking for that equalizer. Huge shot. Oh, and what a save, and he freezes it.
Tegan shuts the door on his buddy Andrew Brandt.
Catches it and then holds it on the top of his pad. Face-off won by the Swarm, and Ryder dumps it in. Here comes Xavier. Passes it up. There's Andrew looking for it. Andrew looking for it. Wide to Karen.
Whalers have done everything but score here. They just can't seem to get one past Tegan.
Can't solve Tegan today. There are days where it's pretty easy to solve Tegan. Not that he's a predictable goaltender, but when you solve him once, you've solved him for the game. Here's Karen to Andrew. Out in front. Ryder picks that up and keeps it in the offensive zone. Dangles around dangles around Karen. Right out in front, nobody home. Dumps it wide. And he covers it up. Being watched by Devin Hyunga there.
Swarm's doing a pretty good job keeping everything to the outside. Whalers getting tons of pressure, but they haven't really had any really dangerous chances in the slot other than what Brett McMurrick had, that one that just went wide.
Still lots of time to make something happen here. Half expected Ryder to have more than one goal at this point. He's had his stick on the puck a lot today. And Teagan freezes it after bouncing behind his net. Andrew and Ryder. Andrew wins the face-off, dumps it in behind the net. There's Hyunga. Ryder behind him. Dumps it wide, up into the netting. Still going. Here comes Xavier.
Oh! Chip chance in front of the net.
That could have been a funky bounce. Oh, another one.
Hiding behind me?
Lots of pressure here. Hutchison unable to get the puck away from Brandt. The Young Stars game, part of our rookie rendezvous, coming up this spring as well. Date to be determined. All of those grade 3s and grade 4s that are not playing this year, or grade 3s that are brand new, will be coming out to show what they can do prior to our draft at the end of this year. So a lot of GMs that aren't graduating from us today, people like Brett Karen, people like Brandon Gustafson will be watching like hawks to see what kind of Paper Kings we've got coming up, or I don't know what other, I guess, house league teams, that kids that are playing that are looking sharp and maybe can run around rather than skating. That'll be coming at you pretty soon, so stay tuned. Not sure what happened there.
Keep him down.
High stick.
Oh, yes, indeed. Into the neutral zone.
Here's a chance for Brett. Another good save by Teagan.
Cannot get it past Zachary Zapko. And Brett again. Andrews just hanging out in the slot there, getting good coverage by Ryder. And there's Ryder. Oh, can't hang on to it. Over to McMurrick.
Good play, down low to Andrew. Up front to Brett. Just can't click.
And there's Ryder with his second.
All that pressure by the Whalers, and Ryder squirts the puck squirts out, and off he goes and puts her home.
2 minutes left, I would say, unless the Whalers can pull a rabbit out of their hat. This could be a repeat of our game prior to the break here. Another shutout, perhaps? Time will tell. Andrew ready in the slot. Seems to be camping out there. Can't really pull the trigger every time.
Something you rarely see in the old floor hockey here is pulling that goalie, get that extra tacker to here push the pace.
I don't think I've ever seen that before. I used to see a lot Aiden Butts back in the team success days coming out of the net and playing the puck regularly, but not to get another skater on, just to try and get himself on the scoreboard.
He's the Ron Hextall of his day, isn't
Indeed, and he did get a couple of goals. That was almost in. Some shoddy camera work, but... Oh!
There it is! Brett Cairns buries one on a pass from Andrew Brandt. Beautiful job by Andrew, securing the ball on the forecheck and then getting it out front.
Now, that does not match our clock, obviously, because we're in stop time, but we're using our 10-minute countdown here, because... Oh, no!
Yep. Ryder Paquette, another hat trick today.
That's a hattie. Hat trick in game 1, hat trick in game 2. And that just neutralized Brett Cairns' huge zero buster there. 36 seconds left. He's Ryder behind the net. Looking for Hutch. Hutch standing at that line, making sure he can keep the puck in. Oh, that was an odd one.
Ryder with his 4th goal. And he's quickly leading the playoffs in scoring, I would think, there for goals.
That is correct. With that 4th goal, he just came from behind and passed Brandon, who had 3. He had a hat trick in his first game, and obviously Liam had one in game 1 of the broadcast today. Almost out of time here. I think that's all she wrote.
Looking for another one. 4-1 win by the Swarm.
And that'll do it for us for Game 1 of these quarterfinal series. Be sure to join us after Easter as we continue on with the battle for the Kathy Sanders Memorial Floor Hockey Trophy. I've been Mr. Norino.
And I'm Mr. Skiller.
Keep your stick on the ice.